Satnam Aloha. So today I want to talk about Jupiter moving into the 53rd gate, which is a big deal. And before that, it's the time of the recording is Monday, January 12th. And I usually do videos on Fridays and then drop them on Saturdays. So I'm a little bit behind on that. And it's because if you look at your black Mars, you see that? There's a number. Your natal, this is a transit chart. But if you look at your natal chart, you'll see a point and then a decimal point and then a number, and mine's a 6.6. So that means that I ascend and I descend. I descend, I ascend, I descend, I ascend. And so I was in a period, this periodically happens to me. It's just part of my process. And yeah, on Friday, I was completely in the realm of descent. And that's where there's really no language. There's no light. There's no motivation. There's just darkness. And then I come out of it, and I come out of it, and it's the way that I'm designed, and with it comes clarity, a lot more clarity. So I'm on completely not up, but getting there. But I'm following my own medicine, which is if you can see, this is Mercury today. Well, for the next couple days, Mercury is in the 54th gate, and it's opposing Jupiter, which is in the 53rd, January 11th to the 14th. Right, so this is an opposition where the Jupiter in the 53 wants to begin something new, like a new cycle, and enter in the unknown and start before that you're ready, basically. And then Mercury, right, is about ambition. It's about drive. It's about bargaining. What's the return? What's the return of investment on this thing? So the tension is, I move because it's time, or do I wait until I know what I'm going to get out of this? Am I ready for this? So how this works is gate 53, which I'll be talking about. It doesn't care about that. It doesn't care about outcomes. It doesn't care about, what am I going to get from this? And all it cares about is that you enter, right? You enter. So the 54. The 54th gate really cares about payoff, trajectory, usefulness, and whether the climb is worth it, right? So for me, I'm taking my own medicine, which I'm following this, right? My mind is like, I don't know if I can do this video, right? I got to have everything all together. It doesn't feel like it's organized the way that it usually is. And the 53 doesn't care. It's like, just move, make a baby step. So that's what I'm doing, following my own medicine. And my body wants to move forward. My body wants to move forward on this. So it probably won't be as long as my other videos, but I'm embracing this new way of being, right? So this is why we have the hanged woman here. So you're kind of in this state yourself, but it's time to follow the body. So I'll talk about that today. So you get great little memes like this every day, and I've been committing to do more on the transits, what the daily transits are. So you can subscribe to my YouTube channel is the best, and there's a community tab there, and that's where I post daily. And Telegram, I'm on Telegram, and then Instagram as well. Okay, so let's get back to this Jupiter in the 53rd, and we'll talk about what this means. All right. So with the 53, okay. So Jupiter in the 53, there we are there, Jupiter. In the 53, it comes off the root here. So what does Jupiter mean in terms of the transit chart? And it's there until May 12th, 2026. So it slides back in March 2026 and slides into the 39, but only like for a week and a half or something like that. So it's basically there until May 12th. So this is the simulation. This is the program, right? The program. So 70% of the neutrinos. This is a neutrino imprint, the transit chart, and also for your natal chart as well. And 70% of those neutrinos come from the sun, our solar sun. And then about 10% come from Jupiter. So Jupiter's a big deal here in terms of the simulation. So the simulation, the program, the Maya, the matrix, whatever you want to talk about, it is really determined by this, right? These transits. So this is the moral law. So Jupiter, what does Jupiter represent in human design? Is the moral law of this time, of this transit, right, until May. So the old law that we're coming out of now has been in the 62. Has been in the 62, and that's up here, which is still being activated because it's in the Earth position now. But the Jupiter's been in the 62 for quite a while. Okay, I'm just checking my ephemeris here. And it's been there since September 17th, September 18th. It's been in the 62. And then it just moved into the 53 on January 5th. So it's been there for almost a week now. Okay, so what does this mean? What does this mean, Jupiter, in terms of human design? Well, this is what we're rewarded for. So it's called the moral law, my dear. So this is conditioning all of us, is conditioning humanity to follow this law, So what was the old law with the 62 since September? This is part of the cross of planning, right? So we'll go into the keys and locks in a second, but this is about explain it. 62 is the gate of details. Explain it, prove it to me, measure it, name it, structure it. This is bureaucracy, it's institutions, it's long-term contracts, it's mental authority. That was the old law. So the new law is 53 here, and this is an important gate for the new cross of the sleeping phoenix that's coming in 2027. So this is about begin it, right? It's begin it, enter it, initiate the cycle, momentum, right? Things are moving over asking for permission. The 62 is about being the expert. And then it's direct experience over explanation. So the 62 is I have to explain everything really, really well. And the 53 is no. I go by my direct experience. I learn as I go, basically. So trying to lead with this old key, right? So the law now is pushing us less about explanation and having details and qualifications and all of that. Right? Now it's moving to the root, right? Because it's look, we're going from the self, right? Or the throat center here, and then we're moving into the root. So this is a pressure, right? It's a body pressure from the root chakra. So it's the pressure to begin. This is why you want to be listening to your body right now, not your mind. And we're in this tension. I felt it today. My mind was like, no, I don't want to. No, I'm not clear. And my mind wasn't clear. But my body was like, no, you'll learn as you go. And it's exactly what happened. As soon as I made a baby step towards okay, I'm going to do this video. Then clarity started coming. The momentum started building. It wasn't about being all certain in your mind first. So this is an important energy that goes beyond May. right? It's in the Jupiter position right now, but this is an energy that's very key for the next 400 years that I'll talk about, right? 2027 and onward. So what does this lead to if you're still hanging on with this old energy of Jupiter? Well, you'll be talking too much. You'll be planning forever, which leads to procrastination, analysis paralysis, basically, waiting for certainty before you bust a move, asking for approval, needing validation from other people. That would be the 62. Over justifying, right? This is why I'm doing it, getting really defensive. And the door just doesn't open anymore. The door doesn't open anymore. So, in terms of moral law, we always think of like morality as like judgy and religious, but that's not what it means in this. So don't get hung up on morality here. Moral law doesn't mean good or bad. Good or bad. It's not about commandments like the 10 Commandments. It's not about virtue signaling. It's not being about being a good person, right, or a bad person. In astrology and human design language, it means what the program, the simulation, the matrix currently rewards. What it rewards. So instead of moral law, look at it as like what's working right now. What's going to be working until May? What's working right now? And what is life saying yes to? So you're an alignment with a living intelligence. This program is a living intelligence. So if you align with this law, then things start to grow. Things start to open. Things start to flow. You know that feeling where things are flowing in your life? And if you don't follow this law, if you're going back to this 62 with the details, becoming obsessed with details and planning everything out, then there's going to be friction, there'll be stalls, there'll be exhaustion, there'll be diminishing returns. And it's because, why? Because you're swimming upstream. So Jupiter's job is to answer one question for the collective, right? So what is this answering? It's like what behavior, what perception, new perception, leads to growth in this time period until May 12th. So when we say Jupiter represents moral law, we really mean what kind of action expands your life, what kind of worldview, right, stops working, right? You have to shift your worldview, and what orientation leads to opportunity versus burnout. So if you're going the old way, then it's going to be burnout. So if we look at the old moral law with the gate of 62, is like it rewarded people who explain themselves really well, right? The people that could rattle off details like they were a walking Google. They followed the well-worn path. They had credentials. They planned long-term. Everything was planned long-term. They justified every one of their moves that they made, right? And they respected institutions, these institutions. So if you did that, then doors opened, right? And if you didn't, you struggled. So this wasn't good versus bad. That was just the new operating system. So the new moral law with the 53, it rewards people who initiate. And now I can hear people like, well, I'm a man, I'm not a manifester. Like, let's just leave strategy and authority out for a moment, right? We're going general to specific, right? So initiate means to make a baby step. Even if you're a projector or a non-energy type, right, or generator, you can still make a little baby step. Like, don't get fanatical about human design, because we're going to see all this nonsense in 2026. People getting fanatical, totally fanatical, obsessive, right? This is the energy that's coming in 2026. Okay, so just common sense. Listen to your body, divine feminine. If you leave with any message, it's like listen to your body. Your body's going to speak the truth. And this is form consciousness, right? So if you're not aligned with your authenticity right now, you're not aligned with this with the program, basically. And I'll talk about the nuance there. Your body is going to be really screaming loudly to you, right? For you to like, okay, you're not on the right course here. Like the guardrails are going to become really, really tightened for you, basically. Because if you have this information, if you've been on my channel or you follow human design, you know about 2027. You know about the cross of the sleeping phoenix. Now it's time to embody that, right? And once you know, you can't get away with stuff that you used to get away with. The universe is very forgiving if you're ignorant, but when ignorance is gone, then no, you know better. So align, course correct. Okay. So with the 53, back to like we initiate and make a baby step. 53, make a baby step. You begin with certainty, right? In the moment. You don't have it all planned out. Like, well, this is going to happen here and then that will happen and then this, that. That's cross the planning way. This is like I begin it, I'm in the experience, and I learn as I go. I move forward, but that's my commitment. My commitment is like I'm going to finish this cycle, this experience. I'll be present throughout the whole process. So you enter the cycles. You know this is a cycle with the 53. This is the new energy. And this goes beyond May. Right, and I'll talk about the locks and keys, but this is definitely a new energy to embrace long term. So learn by doing. You move before you have mental clarity. You move. You listen to the body. There's life here. I'm moving. The body wants to move. I move. I move first. The mental clarity comes later. And you want to trust the timing. Trust timing over permission or validation. So if you do this, then what's Jupiter going to go do? Open the doors for you. Things start to flow, right? And if you don't, things will feel stuck or oddly dead. And this is the new operating system that's coming. So what happens if you ignore the moral code? Well, nothing dramatic, right? Nothing dramatic. You can experience effort without traction. You're just spinning your wheels, making all this effort. You're not getting anywhere. Ideas that go nowhere. Waiting. I'm waiting for the right moment, according to my mind. Maybe when I'm more settled, maybe when I move, maybe when I'm out of that job, maybe when I retire, whatever excuse you have, right? This is like it never resolves. This is not about waiting. It's not about waiting. Procrastination, explaining things instead of living, right? Detach from living. This new cross of the sleeping phoenix requires that we come down to the earth. We're actually participating in life now. We're not up here in our head in concepts. There can be a sense of being off, like something's off, or you're tired for no real reason. You're burned out. And so people can interpret this. You can interpret this as, well, there's something wrong with me. It's something I ate, right? I need a pill. I need to get diagnosed with something wrong with me. When that's not true. You're just playing by the rules. The rules of the game have changed, right? You're playing by the old rules and it doesn't work anymore. Things don't work anymore. So the other thing to note is that you have your own law. right? So if you look at your natal Jupiter, you're going to have a number and a decimal point. So that's your own personal law, right? Your own personal law that you follow. So how does that work, right? And I really feel and sense this like polarity between Leo and Aquarius, because we are in the age of Aquarius, right? And Leo is the opposite of Aquarius. And Aquarius is all about the collective, the group, the collective. And Leo is about the individual. It's about the individual, self-sovereign individuality, your uniqueness, your authenticity, versus the collective, right? So we really get to play this out in terms of our human design. We have our natal chart, our Leo-esque, if you want to call it that. And then we've got this transit chart, which is like the collective, all of humanity. All of humanity is influenced by this. So we can't just, if we just escape into the collective, then we're like a tofu person. We just take on the flavor of whatever the conditioning is at the time, right? We take on, yeah. And then we got Leo. And if we get too much into Leo, then that can lead to isolation and beating your head against the wall, because the weather can be out raining, right? It's raining really hard, and you're kind of in denial that it's raining. Maybe that's a bad metaphor. I can see I'm so in this Jupiter Mercury thing, but here I am. I'm in the 53 with you guys right now, and I'm learning as I go. The point is that you need that you have to work with it. You have to work with this collective energy as an individual, right? As an individual, and keeping your authenticity, right? You have your authenticity. So you have your own personal law, with Jupiter. So what does this mean? And this is key, right? So you don't follow the moral law. You don't follow this Jupiter in the 53. If you have Jupiter in the 53, why guru, right? You've got your double down, Jupiter in the 53. If you have Jupiter in Cancer, you may have Jupiter in the 53rd gate. But you don't follow this moral law, this collective moral law, by copying others, right? So if somebody's like, well, I can see somebody's initiating. They've never gone to business school. They have no qualifications. They don't really have a lot of money. They don't have a business plan. They don't have anything like that, but they're initiating. They're starting their own business. Does that mean that you follow them? Right? Do you follow them? No, you've got to obey your own law first. Right? Your own law first. So my Jupiter is in the 24th gate, Taurus. Right? And so what does that mean? Before I move forward and make a baby step, there needs to be an inner truth that locks in, right? With the 24, an inner truth, and then it's like I move forward. But the inner truth isn't coming from my mind in details and logic. It's an individual, right? It's the 2461. Right? It's an individual channel, so an inner clarity comes, right? It comes. It's the invention. So that has to click for me first. And then I follow the Jupiter law. But I have to follow my own Jupiter law first. Do you see? So you want to check out your Jupiter, what number it's in. And maybe write that down in the chat too. There might be other people that have the same one as you, right? So you don't follow to the letter what another person is doing. You still are holding on to your uniqueness, right? So the collective Jupiter is like what kind of movement works. Okay, well, beginning, that kind of movement works. Learn as you go, baby steps, follow your body. Okay, that works for the collective, so it's going to work for me too. But then you've got to look at your natal Jupiter, and it's how you personally access your truth and expansion. Your truth and expansion. That's the law you have to follow, your own personal law. So you're not here to obey external authority, right? You're not here to copycat somebody else, but you're not here to ignore the weather either. So you're not the individual. That was what I was trying to describe, right? Like you're ignoring that it's raining out. No, you got to know what the law is, the collective law is as well. And then you want to surf your way, right? We're all surfing this wave, these waves, this transit, and then you got your own way of surfing the wave. So that's what you want to honor. And that way you honor your own uniqueness as well. It's funny with these, I don't know if people know, but I'm a pure individual, right? Emotional projector. And I'm really discovering that it's real. I guess it's always been happening, but I'm really feeling it and experiencing it at a deeper level now, is that I have to embody what I'm sharing. Right? And I just felt like I was in the 53 for a couple days now, and really like grounding into it. So yeah, I feel like I'm in it right now. Okay. So hopefully that can get through. See, the old way, I can feel even my own conditioning coming up. Oh, I got to explain it better. That's the 62. I have to explain it better. And it's like, no, I just need to be in it, right? So I'm in the energy. So there you are in your sailboat, back to the water metaphor, right? So you're navigating through this neutrino stream, and there you are in Jupiter. So you want to obey your first law first. Make sure that you're aligned with that. Okay. And let's go to the locks and keys. So if you can see up here, this is the global cycles, right? The global consciousness program. And I don't want to get too much into this, but there's the cross of planning, right? That's been activated since 1615 to 2026. And so there's things called keys there. And then there's locks. So every time that we go into a new cycle, the new 400-year cycle starting in 2027, the locks stay the same. So the locks represent energies, particular energies. And then the keys that open those locks will change. So, right? So there's the big ones, the 55, 59, 34, and the 20. That's the cross of the sleeping phoenix. Now, if we go over here, right, we got the cross of planning. This is the direction of humanity, right? So it was in the cross of Maya since 1615. And then it's going to be going to the cross of penetration. So there's our numbers here. And it's really interesting that Jupiter's been in this 62 that I've been talking about over, since September. And then moving into the 53, so we can really feel these keys. So this is a big deal. So the 7th lock isn't going to open up with the 62 anymore. It's going to open up with that 53. And that's what Jupiter is activating right now, which is expanding it, getting used to this. So what's the 7 about? It's leaders. The leadership, right? And so the lock 7, that represents leadership. I'll show you where it is in the chart. Maybe you have it yourself right here. There's the 7, right? The leadership. It's part of the leadership channel, the channel of the Alpha 31-7. So, which means that we've been genetically programmed to follow people in the cross of planning with who had the 62. We're not those people in particular that have this natally, but just generally speaking, we followed the people who could explain everything, right? It was mental. It was all about creating a structure. It was about proving competence. It was about earning authority through becoming an expert. That's who we followed. Follow the experts. Are you a doctor? Are you a lawyer? Right? How dare you speak? This is the cross of planning, the tribal consciousness. The tribal consciousness. So this worked in the cross of planning world. Leadership was managerial, right? It was cognitive, it was institutional, right? You had to get your qualifications. You had to go through the educational system to become an expert, have a bunch of letters behind your name. But now that 62 is not going to work anymore. We're not going to follow the experts anymore. And we're really seeing that out in the world. There's such a distrust now of the experts, especially since 2020. People listening to the experts. What did it get them? Some of them ended up in the grave listening to the experts. And you yourself, maybe you're having a mistrust of the so-called experts out in your world now. Just because they're qualified doesn't mean that they're in integrity, right? So this key's not going to work anymore. We're not going to follow leaders who are able to explain things really well, and they have all the details, right? And the qualifications. So it just doesn't mean it's broken or it was wrong. No, it served a purpose, but now the program is changing for the next 400 years. It's obsolete now. So the 53 is the new key, right? And that's what Jupiter's in right now. And this is, we'll follow people who begin something, right? They're beginning, they're entering, they're moving, and they let life demonstrate the truth. This is the learn as you go. My body is pulling me towards this as a leader, right? There's the leader, right? You can look at it like this, following the heart, the torch, moving into the unknown. Just going, right? She's just going onto the path. She's not concerned about if people are following her. She's initiating, right? She's moving forward. She's moving forward. So this is very somatic. It's not about the mind. It's about following your body now. You can trust your body now. You can't trust your mind now. We're so influenced and conditioned by our mind now. So gate 7 doesn't want the gate 7 lock doesn't want experts anymore. And this can really rattle people now, especially the people that are very identified with their qualifications and their identity as an expert. Right? So leadership is no longer the most informed, the most organized, the person with the most credentials, the person that's the most articulate, right? This is the old law hierarchy. Tribal consciousness kept a hierarchy. So the new leadership is the one who begins. They're actually doing it. They're not talking about it. They're doing it. The one who stays with what they start. They stay. They're committed to the process. The one who lets their life be the transmission and the teaching. The one who's willing to look awkward and vulnerable in public while the cycle forms itself. The 62 is like, I have it all together, right? So this isn't LinkedIn leadership. Not about LinkedIn and your credentials, right? It's artist. It's the artist leadership. Your life is your art. This is the initiator leadership. It's the phoenix leadership. And it's messy. It's messy, it's embodied, and it's lived. right? So this is why this moment feels exposure, right? It can feel like exposure with the Jupiter and the 53 because it's preparing us for what's coming the next 400 years. So the transit can expose unfinished cycles. Maybe you have a cycle in your life that's not completed. There's no, you know it. You're getting a sense of it. Jupiter is expanding that. Like, oh, there's a cycle that I haven't completed. Right? Fake commitments. The fake commitment, they're not really there. They're all talk. They're all talk. 53 is like, I'm on the path with you. With you. There's no hierarchy. Borrowed identities, right? Borrowed identities, right? Taking on this identity of wearing this costume, right? This mask of a so-called expert. Ambitions that were maybe never really yours, right? To look at. So this will be exposed. So you may feel lost or pressured or unsettled, disoriented. People will start to feel this, right, as this new consciousness starts to come in for 2027. So gate 53 is a pressure, right, because it's coming from the root chakra. Gate 53 is a pressure, right? And the pressure, it doesn't bring clarity. The pressure doesn't bring clarity. The pressure is only pressuring you to begin. Because remember, even if you're following, like I have my motivation in human design is leader, right? So I'm a leader. That's right in my design. But it doesn't mean that you give your authority over, right? Okay, well, somebody's influencing me and I'm following them. Am I giving my authority over to them? No, I'm not. I'm always going inside to my own inner authority, right? And if your body says follow, then you follow. You're not doing it with your mind of like, oh, they sound so good and they can articulate everything and everything's structured and they seem to have mental certainty. That's the old way. It's like, no, listen to your body, and your body's like, oh, I don't know why, but I'm really called towards this person. I'm going to follow them, but I'm listening to my body about it. Do you know the difference? It's like, listen to your body, not your mind. And if you hear somebody say, I'm mentally certain about something, like run for the hills. Do not be following people like that anymore, right? Listen to your body. Your body will show you the truth. Right? So it's about pressure. The 53 is about pressure to move, enter a new cycle. And we have to get really good with uncertainty. We have to get really good with uncertainty at this time. So clarity comes after the movement. When you're in movement, then clarity comes. So if somebody comes and says, I feel the pressure, but I don't know what to do, the answer is good, right? You're in the right energy because begin something small and real. And that's how the signal receives. Your signal, and it's right, you'll receive the signal when you just make a small little step. A small little step. You start the movement, you build the momentum. So the real leadership question is, can it be completed? But the deeper, scarier layer is, am I willing to be changed by what I begin? By what I begin. So in this era, starting equals leadership, finishing equals integrity, quitting unconsciously, like quitting, dropping out, leads to depression. Your body will show you if you're opting out, like listening to the mind, oh, this isn't going anywhere, not trusting that your body and your soul are leading you somewhere, right? Somewhere, it's some experience where you're growing and evolving. And then um, what was I going to say? So no, there's no chains with the tribal consciousness. There's always the exchange. I do this for you. You do this for me. There's no outcome. There's no agenda with this 53. You don't know where it's going to lead because we're in new territory as a humanity. We're entering somewhere we've never been before. This is completely new territory, and you cannot use your mind as a compass, right? A lot of paths are saying the same thing. You cannot use the mind as your compass now. It's just too overwhelming. Look at the internet. Everything's in there. All the knowledge is in there, right? You need a consciousness. You need a consciousness that can discern truth for you, right? What's true for you may not be true for everybody else, right? You have to trust your own self. That's what it means to be self-sovereign. Okay. So no fake yeses to survive an old system that's already gone. This cross of planning is gone. We're just seeing the after effects. The earthquake already happened a while ago, and now we're just seeing the time lag is starting. We're starting to see the collapse of all these systems. So don't be loyal to these old systems. They're going away. Right? They're gone. They're gone. We're just going to see more and more collapse this year. So leadership doesn't come from knowing more. It's not about information anymore. This is the old way with the leaders. Like, I'm the gatekeeper. I have all this knowledge and you don't. Right? I'm on the top of the hierarchy, the heap here. It was all about hiding information. This is the Piscean age too. Right? All the information is out now. Everybody has access to this information. We have this amazing computer in our phone. Like, we all have it now. That's not the issue, right? The issue now is the leadership, right? The leadership now is about entering first, who comes first, right? And who stays present long enough to be changed by the experience. So even yourself, I don't know where this is leading, but I'm willing to be changed by the experience. Changed by the experience. So will there be no leaders? It's a good question, right? Will there be no leaders? No. There's going to be fewer rulers. Right? Fewer authorities, fewer figureheads, fewer experts now. But there's going to be a lot of people who are initiating. And these are the new leaders, the new teachers, is that they teach, they guide, whatever you want to call them. They lead from their own lived experience, So in the Phoenix, Sleeping Phoenix era, the leaders don't try to lead. They don't recruit followers. They don't need to explain first and defend why they're doing this. They just do it. And they don't promise outcomes. They just begin what's correct. They stay honest inside the cycle. And they allow resonance to happen or not. Right? So you're either aligned with me, I'll use me as an example, or you don't. I don't take it personally, right? So you're either in resonance with me or you're not. And that's you going to your own inner authority. That's the real leadership. So the old era was all about persuasion and recruitment, right? It depended upon convincing and persuading and explaining and recruiting buy-in and proving value, creating consensus. And if people didn't follow, the leader assumed, well, I need to explain better. I just said that earlier on. And that's my conditioning too. Oh, I'm not explaining this better. I need to explain better. I need to get clear. That's gate 62 logic. It's a logical channel, right? Part of a logical channel. So the Phoenix error is coherence and signal. So leadership works like a signal, Works like a signal, not a sales pitch. It's a signal, it's frequency. So you move and your life sets out a frequency. And the other nervous systems on your fractal, they either orient towards you, right? Or they orient away from you, right? So this is not, it's not hierarchy. It's about resonance. It's about frequency now. So you don't want to chase agreement as a leader. You don't want to chase agreement. You don't want to soften your truth to be palpable. You don't want to escalate intensity to pull people in. You don't want to shrink to avoid being left. Fear of abandonment and all that stuff. You let the field sort it out. You let the frequency sort it out. Right? So some people will feel, I don't know why, but I really trust this direction. I really trust this direction. I trust this person. I trust the frequency of this person. And then others will say, this doesn't really belong to me. It's not coming from my mind. It's coming from my body. I'm not feeling it, right? And both of these are successes. Okay? So embrace this new energy of the 53, which is great. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about this uncertainty is the loss of certainty. The loss of certainty. So this is the retreat coming, and I'm also feeling the retreat energy too. Because of this 53, the 53 gate is means I have to go through an experience. I go through an experience before I can deliver this retreat experience, right? Also, it just won't be authentic. It won't be authentic. So some questions that this retreat will be exploring is the loss of certainty. So this is the closing up of the cycle. So what does that mean? What are we closing up? The last year? No, we're closing up 14 years, a 14-year cycle when Neptune was in Pisces. So that started in December 2011 for you. This is finishing up. Right? So that happens the day after the retreat ends on the Sunday, and then the Monday, Neptune moves into Aries. So it's looking at that cycle in itself, right? How that fits into the larger cycle, which is like the 400-year cycle that's ending next year. So the arc of this year, for me and my intention to focus on and to explore, is how do we move out of the cross of planning into this new cross of the sleeping phoenix when the structures of the cross of planning are dissolving, they're dismantling, right? And the new structures haven't emerged yet. What does that look like? How can we do that now? That's one of the questions. Because we don't have certainty. We're experiencing a collapse of outer structure, and that's going to get more and more amplified this year. So how to embody, right? How to embody the sleeping phoenix when there's no system to hold you. And then Neptune in Pisces is completing 14 years. And so we're looking at your personal chart during the retreat. And what did you lose in those last 14 years? What did it teach you about where you dissolve, where you disappear, where you avoid reality? And how does Neptune in your chart, right? Neptune in your chart, your natal Neptune, how did that shape your relationship to trust? Did it create confusion, addictions? Was resistance to surrender or self-abandonment? To look at that more closely. And then the grandmother inheritance. So Neptune, it correlates to the grandmother in your chart. So what did you inherit from your grandmother about spirituality, about safety, about visibility? Where did your grandmother need to disappear? What did she do to endure or surrender herself? And how are you still carrying that pattern because it's in your chart? It's in your body. It's in your body. It's unconscious. So looking at that, the shadow of that, and then looking at ego identity release. And this is the Neptune, right? We're in the threshold right now. This is about Neptune about to move into Aries, right? For the next 14 years. What does that cycle look like? So what identity or role have you been using to feel safe? You're not self. You should start to be seeing this now. It's like this not self. And we're not making it wrong and blame, right? What not self, what identity have I taken on to survive this crazy world that I've lived in, this sick world? Let's call a spade, this sick world that I've lived in like all of my life. What role? Right? What identity? That's that primary identity, that ego identity that has to dissolve. That has to dissolve before Neptune comes into Aries. Right? So what have you been pretending? Who have you been pretending to be in order to belong, to survive, or be seen as spiritual? Neptune's very connected to spirituality. Right? And this can target, like, we'll look at archetypes like the martyr, the seeker, the healer, the teacher, the good daughter, the good sister, the good wife, the good mother, the invisible one, the one that hides, right? The rescuer, all of that we'll look at. And then Neptune in Aries is like what's emerging? What's emerging now? Without going into prediction, but what energy is emerging now? So what new quality of action, courage, or presence is beginning to move through you? Right? How does this truth now, this new emerging truth for you for the next 14 years? Right? This is about movement now. It's all about movement. We're getting out of the water energy and we're moving into the fire energy this year. So you don't want to be dragging a corpse along with you. And that's that fake self, right? Carrying the fake self on your back because you're too afraid to let go of it. It served you, right? But no, now it's a detriment. It's time to let it go so you can really live to your higher purpose, right? Neptune in Aries is the judgment card. It's like, sound the alarm. It's time to go. It's time to follow your soul now. It's time to move. Right? Okay. So keep that in mind. That starts in less than 2 weeks now. Okay. And it should be quite the experience because I'm really aligning with the cross of the sleeping phoenix energy. That's my new approach to these retreats and my work. Okay. So this would be a good time. If you're on your phone and you're watching this on a replay, so let's put it on pause and take a little deep breath, maybe get some water. And then we'll ground it. And then we'll ground the energy with the cards. Okay, so this is about Jupiter in the fractal, the Phoenix fractal. And you know you're on my fractal when your body relaxes, your body opens, right? When you listen to my voice, you resonate. Something is resonating. Your nervous system is resonating with me. That means you're on my fractal. It means I'm on your fractal. Okay, so what's ending? We've got the Magician reversed. Let's see if we can see that. The Magician reversed and the Five of Pentacles reversed. So this is the end of self-reliance. And this is like fake self-reliance here. This is no more forcing manifestation, making things happen, using your third chakra. No more forcing that. No more, I should be able to make this work. I should be able to make this relationship work, this job work. right? I just have to try harder. I just have to try harder. No proving that you're worthy through output, right? Through competence or spiritual skill. And magician here reverse doesn't mean that it's powerless. Doesn't mean that you're powerless. It's refusing false power. False power. And that's the ego power. Look, I'm valuable because I'm useful in this relationship, or they need me in this job. That's false power, and it's feeding a false self. And this is going offline now for you. Anything that's inauthentic is going offline for you. So, and then it's with the Five of Pentacles reversed, is like, I'm done pretending I have to do this alone. I'm done with this, right? The other thing is the 3740, which I'll probably do a deeper dive another time with this. This goes all the way to May too, right? Because it's in the nodes, the 3740. And this is the condition to seek community, right? To seek community, to be in your tribe, your soul tribe. But you've got to also listen to your own truth. Just because they're inviting you in, right? Come into our community doesn't mean that it's correct for you. Especially if you're using this to bolster up this false self, like they need me and they value me and they love bomb me, right? But do they really see me? No. Right? So you've got to be really wary of that with the 3740 until May. But this is you acknowledging, like, I'm tired of being alone. I'm tired of being alone, doing this alone. And you may be surrounded by people, but you still feel alone, right? Because they can't see you, right? They don't resonate with you. They don't understand you. You can feel more alone in a crowd than if you were actually alone, physically alone. So this is isolation is dissolving, right? Isolation disguised as independent. Well, I'm independent. No, you're isolated. You can isolate in a group. Scarcity thinking dressed up as discipline. Well, I'm disciplined. Well, the scarcity, right? Your scarcity is like, no, there's no people out there. I'm never going to find my people. Like, this is good enough. I'm going to make lemonade, right? From this is false. It's false. Scarcity thinking. You're calling it discipline. Spiritual self-abandonment in the name of strength. So this is the collapse of the old survival magician. So this is a relief here. It's a relief. Right? So this is abandoning your own soul purpose, your own soul's calling too. You're abandoning this. So this is ending for the fractal. And what's asking to begin? The Six of Swords reversed. And this is not moving on, right? Because it's reversed. This is staying put long enough for your nervous system to reorganize. And so Six of Swords reverse says you don't need to go somewhere else. So if you have your mind, I should live somewhere else, I should go somewhere else, right? It's you don't need a new identity, right? You don't need a cleaner story. What's beginning is returning to yourself without bypassing discomfort. It's returning to yourself. So this is coming back into the body, and maybe it's uncomfortable in your body. That's just your integration work to do, right? So this is stop with the outsourcing, like looking like the grass is greener somewhere else. Be here now. Be here now. That's what this is saying. So stop trying to arrive somewhere. My life will happen when, right? Whatever your when is. And what, right? So gate 53 here says, begin by staying. Begin by staying. And that's exactly why it's correct, right? Begin where you are right now. It's like I'm entering the cycle right now in this moment, right? In this moment, I'm entering the cycle right now by staying. I'm staying in my body. Then you start to see the magic happen, right? When you're committed to the present now moment, in this present now moment, don't go into strategy. How do I get out of this situation? And my mind's going to give me the answer. No. Your answer is in the present now moment to be embodied, right? Enter the cycle. I don't know how this is going to happen, but I'm committed to this right now, right? I'm beginning something. Make a baby step. And then your how to stay resonant in integrity, to stay in your integrity, Six of Pentacles reversed. And this says stop giving to people who can't give back to you. Stop tracking who's giving back to you. Stop adjusting your output to get a response. So giving only what's true, right? Not what's rewarded, not what you get a reward from. Just give what's true. So some people will not respond to this. Some exchanges will end, right? So is this true in my body? What's my body saying about giving to this person? Body saying no. Well, that's what you have to obey. What about giving to another person? Body saying yes. Then you obey with that. This is what it means to be in your truth, right? That's what it means to be in integrity. What's coming out of your mouth is matching what your body is communicating to you, right? Some people aren't going to like that, but some doors won't open, but some doors will start to open. So this is the end of people pleasing. This card here, unconscious overgiving, right? If I just show up better, if I love that person better, maybe that they'll meet me. Maybe they'll show up for me. Maybe they'll choose me. Nope, you don't do that anymore. You show up clean, right? And then frequency handles the rest of it. Is that person aligned with your new frequency because you're in integrity now? I'm obeying my body now. That's my truth, right? Then the frequency, then your signal really starts to come online, and then the right ones will meet you there, right? And then the anchor card is the Two of Swords, and so this is the nervous system card here. The Two of Swords is the nervous system card. So this is discernment without drama. So you don't need to decide everything. With the Two of Swords in this position, you don't need to decide everything. You don't need to explain your choice. You don't need to resolve the tension immediately. You may be feeling tension. This is holding your center while clarity emerges through movement. So you're holding your center. I don't let go of this idea of having mental certainty. This is what we have to let go. The mental awareness system is going offline for us. We're dropping into that spirit awareness system, right? After the solar plexus mutation. So this is like the pressure. This fits perfectly with the pressure of the 53. It's like I'm moving, I'm making a step without mental clarity. And the Phoenix leadership without certainty. And then this is like, this resonates with me or not, right? I'm not forcing an outcome. I'm not making up a story about what this is going to look like, this experience. So this is stop trying to manifest from depletion and scarcity here. Stop transitioning away from yourself. Right? Stay put, stay with yourself, don't abandon yourself. Stop overgiving to others so that you can feel safe. This is the old cross the planning way. And stop forcing clarity before movement. Clarity is not going to come first. Clarity will come after you start moving and listening to your body. So you want to release false independence, right? I'm doing everything myself. I'm not sharing. I'm not being vulnerable with myself, even with the people around me. That's false independence. Stay present where you are. Act without managing a response. And hold your center and let the field respond to you or not, right? So leadership now, it's not about making things happen. It's not about making things happen. It's about refusing to abandon yourself to get a result. Okay? So that's the big message, is do not abandon yourself. So just take a moment, right? And contemplate a question. How do I abandon myself? What's come up for me in this reading? How do I self-abandon? Who do I self-abandon with? Right? And just bring that into your awareness, or even put a prayer out like, show me, divine, where I abandon myself. Right? Okay. So that's the fractal. So let me know if you resonate with this reading. Okay? Put it in the comment box. I love reading your comments. Okay. So let's go for the twin flame. And if you're on the twin flame journey, which is a spiritual path in itself, so the first card for the twin flames, the divine feminines, who identify as divine feminine, where is your energy been split, divine feminine? Right? So this is the release card, what you have to release. And so this is saying letting go of control, Four of Pentacles reversed, around love. Loosening the grip of outcomes. Stop bracing, guarding yourself, right? Guarding yourself that came from past hurts. This is like guarding your heart, right? Not letting your heart open up. So this is about trusting your body. Trusting your body without clenching, without bracing for something bad to happen. Like, right? So self-union, because in the twin flame journey, it's about you bringing your inner masculine and your inner feminine together. That's the true union, right? So self-union can happen while you're protecting yourself from yourself. You're protecting yourself from your own self. So this card says, I'm done with holding my heart to stay safe. That's step one, right? I'm going to let my heart open. I'm not going to protect myself, right? It's not protection. It's keeping you from union with yourself, right? Time to let this go, this control. And then what's reuniting within? And this is the twin flame card, the Four of Wands. What does this mean? This isn't about another person. It's not about another person. It's about you. It's about the inner stability that makes union possible. There's no divine counterpart that's going to show up in your life in 3D unless you come into union with yourself first. It's about frequency. It's about frequency. So if you have the frequency of union within yourself, the divine counterpart, the DC, shows up, right? The divine masculine. But you have to come into union with yourself first. So this is the inner stability. So this is your inner feminine and your inner masculine are meeting inside. Those two energies are meeting inside. And this means your safety is no longer outsourced, right? You're not projecting that onto the karmic relationship, your karmic masculine, that you have it yourself. You feel safe within yourself and your own body. And your joy doesn't need to be earned, right? There's celebratory here. Uh, yeah, celebration. So it doesn't have to be earned, right? Joy doesn't have to be earned. Your nervous system recognizes home internally. You come to your home to yourself. So this is the twin flame card, but it's turned inward. It's inward. So I'm the place I was waiting to arrive. What I've wanted out there is really inside me. It's inside me. This is self-sovereign. It's whole unto yourself. Right? So this is amazing. What's you reuniting within for the twin flames on the fractal. And then position 3, here, the Ace of Pentacles. How is union live now? So, right? So this is about, this is no longer longing and fantasy. It's a pentacle, so it's the earth, right? It's not like the Knight of Cups or Seven of Cups, like the longing, right? The fantasy, the spiritual tension, the waiting energy. This is practical. It's practical, right? So this is tending to your body. It's tending to your body, choosing stability. Choosing stability. Stability is really boring to the ego. Choosing peace, really boring to the ego. Right? The ego wants the dopamine hits, right? It wants the adrenaline, the stress, which is like what the ego calls love. It's like, no, love in its true essence is really boring, right? To the ego. But this is what you're choosing now. And you want to build something real. You're not investing in fantasies anymore. You don't want to invest in that anymore. You want to invest in something real and stable and practical, right? So this is you. It's like, I'm ready to receive what's real now. So live as union is already happening. Live as union is already happening for you. Okay, union, imagine it. Union's already happening for me. What do I do? How do I act? How do I behave? Right? Because it has. It's already inside you. That's what this card is saying. Right? Union's already inside you. This is the whole purpose of the twin flame connection. Twin flame path is for you to be in union with yourself. So this is small steps. Ace of Pentacles is like make little baby steps, small steps, real actions, tangible care. And this is how your field changes, right? So you're imagining that union has already happened, right? So make it practical. And then the 9 of Wands, here's the anchor. And this is quiet strength. And it's not I'm tired and barely hanging on, because it can be the wounded warrior too, but in this position, no. It's more like I've been through enough, right? To know what's real. I've been through the ringer. I've been through the fire of my relationships now. And now I know what's real. I know it's real. And I'm still here. So this is resilience, showing you how resilient you've been without hardening yourself. This is boundaries, right? Boundaries, staying present even when the old patterns try to reassert themselves, staying true to yourself. So this is earned. You've earned self-trust, right? You've earned self-trust. So this is stop guarding your heart against life. So stop guarding your heart against life. Come home to yourself, 4 of Wands. And safety is internal now. You're not outsourcing your safety. I need that person to feel safe. Or I need money to feel safe. Right? I feel safe in my body now. It's internal. And that's true. That's a true spiritual truth right there. And then you want to live union through daily embodiment. You're not waiting. You're making baby steps. You're moving forward. And again, listen to your body. What does your body calling you to do? Right? So trust the strength that you've already built right here. Okay. So this is really, again, take this message, right? It's about becoming in union with the self, with yourself, your inner masculine and your inner feminine here. Okay, that's it for the slides. Okay, so that's the video. And I'll probably do another video because I feel like I'm on the ascent now. I'll record it on Friday, but for the new moon in Capricorn, that's coming up. So I'll do a video on that. So that should be, I'll drop that on Saturday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So in 4 days, Okay, so the retreat is January 23rd, 4th, and 5th, and then Neptune goes into Aries on January 26th. So go to the link below to sign up and register. Again, listen to your body. Is my body pulling me to this experience? And embrace that 53, right? And if it's not, no hard feelings. There's just not a resonance there, right? So you want to start to embody this new energy. It's time for us to start to embody this new energy. This year is going to go very, very, very quickly with all that fire. Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram, Telegram, and then YouTube, where I post daily, and so you can stay in the loop with the transits and what's happening with energetically. And what else did I want to say? Newsletter. And I have a free newsletter. I'm so in this 53. Just doing it, right? Just doing it. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up. And I showed up. And my prayer is for you as well. That's all life wants for you right now, is to show up. Show up as your authentic self in each and every moment. You may be broken, like spiritually, like depleted, exhausted, burned out, right? If you could see the wounds on your physical, you have an arm hanging out, and like eye dropping, like looking like hell, right? But looking like hell on the inside. But you just show up, whatever state you're in, right? That's all we're being called to do right now, is to be our authentic self. Okay? So take good care, and I look forward to reading your comments, and I look forward to seeing people signing up for this retreat. Okay. Sat Nam Aloha, everybody. Take good care.